Welcome to this Postal Methods How to Compose a Letter tutorial. First thing you're going to want to do is go to the letter section of the portal. Then the very first option you have is to compose a letter. Now, one thing you may want to do to start is enter a description for this particular letter. Now, this is completely optional, but it's beneficial if you want to try and find this letter again at some point in the future. So for this case, I'm going to name this sample letter, but in your case, you'll name it whatever it is you want to call it, whatever will help you find it later in the future if you need to do so. Now, after you've done this, now you want to put a return address for the envelope. Now, in this particular case, I have this address that I'm going to use is already in my address book. Incidentally, you can add addresses to the address book by entering it manually here for the first time and then saving it. Now, since I've done this already, I already have it in here. All I have to do is put the first letter of the person's first name. It'll find it, tap on it, and it'll auto-populate. Same thing applies to the send to address as well. Okay, once you've added that in there, there are a number of options to consider. You notice here on the right-hand side, we have uploads, which is an option we can choose if we have other documents that we also want to send in this letter. All you would do is drop the documents in here or browse for them, and then you would be able to send those documents that would go behind the letter that we create here in just a moment. Again, that's optional. Also, preferences. You have some options here as well. You notice the default options that we have here are black and white and printing on one side. But you do have the option, if you want to print in color, and you can also print on both sides if you would like to do so. Additionally, you have the option to add perforated paper, and you typically do this if you have at the bottom of your letter something that can be torn off to submit back to you, perhaps a payment stub where they could send you a payment back. You can also include a reply envelope as well for that purpose. Strictly optional, so in this case we're not going to do it. We're going to leave things as is and proceed on a little further. Now we can create the letter that we're going to use. Now at this point you can literally create from scratch this letter right here and there. Or you can also copy and paste if you already have a template you're going to use. So in this case, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just copy and paste one that I have and pop that in there. Now you notice here, it's a letter that I have complete. I can move on from here if I wanted to do so. But let's say here this is a form letter, but I want to address it to someone in particular, because Jonathan is not Eric, right? I'm sending it to Eric. So I could do something a little bit different here and use these keywords that we have in here. So put my cursor there and click on first name. And now it'll automatically pull from what I put over here in the send to address area. So now if you notice, if I click on preview, it pulled over Eric's send to address, the address, or my address rather, the return address, and it also pulled in his first name here as well. So everything looks good. It came through properly, and eventually once this letter is printed, the letter will be folded, and these two items here will actually pop through and be seen through the number 10 windowed envelope in which it will be mailed out in. So we're good. We like what we see here. Click on close. Now that we're satisfied, now we can go down here below to the right where it says send. Click confirm. And now it populates over here into the processed documents section. And then we'll want to refresh this until we see that the price has come through, and we'll wait on that just a moment. All right, so there you have it. So now we have the dollar amount in there, everything processed through. We see down here, everything looks good here as well. There's a green check mark, which means this address has been verified and it's good to go. So as long as we don't go over here and cancel it and delete it, when 4 a.m. comes and goes, then that will be processed and it will go out. So a very simple way of actually sending your mail, a very easy way of doing that. Of course, this is doing a single document here, but as you know, we have multiple options where you can do a mail merge. You can also send multiple documents As you know, we have certified mail as well. We have a number of different options that you can choose just to make your life easier. I do want to mention one other thing. You notice here right now it shows 0 completed. So nothing has happened, hasn't gone out yet. So not until 4 a.m. when it does go through and process, then that'll change to a 1, meaning it's completed, it's going out, and that's when you know it's good to go. So it's just something to keep in mind. Thank you for being a customer of Postal Methods, and this does hereby conclude this tutorial.